less opportunities means exactly what it means, less opportunities. I hope that doesn't happen. But regardless, I'm gonna create my own lane regardless. And I think that's what every new creator should do. I think that's the future of what's holding. But I genuinely think that's the future. Filmmaking as a whole. Everybody's gonna be doing their own thing. Peeps, welcome back. Welcome back to another video. Welcome to another Johnny video. Welcome to another Mr. Fentry video. Welcome to another Krezzyy video. Welcome to another Krezzyy Motion Pictures. Krezzyy Studios. Krezzyy. I'm dizzy. But okay, anyway, so there's been a recent whole big thing going on in the media. I've seen all over social media that Netflix acquired Warner Brothers. And this is, I guess now they have rights to HBO Max, HBO Max and Max. And that includes like, I guess all the Marvel stuff, a lot of big popular franchises. I just had to ask Chat GPT exactly what does this mean. I really didn't understand what it meant fully, how it's gonna affect the industry moving forward. So obviously Netflix will acquire Warner Bros. And television studios, plus their streaming services, including HBO Max and HBO, in a cash and stock transaction with total enterprise value of about $82 billion. Equity value US $72 million. And this deal includes WBD's legacy cable networks and linear TV businesses, news, traditional cable channels, etc. Those will be spun off into a separate publicly trading entity, Discover Global, prior to the merging's closings. And the expected timeline, the spin-off is slated for Q3 2026, with the full deal closing sometime within the 12 to 18 months after that, pending regulatory and shareholders approval. Because of this, Netflix would end up controlling a massive library of content, including legacy films, TV libraries, current and future productions from Warner Bros., HBO, popular franchises, and more. So what does that mean for future content? For viewers and for the culture. So on one end, it could be bigger content under one roof, meaning you won't have to go to different places to watch your movies, which I would love, because honestly, this whole streaming culture and app culture is, I've been able to evolve with it by being young and, hip to the culture, but having to go here to watch a show on Netflix, then I gotta watch this on HBO Max, and then I gotta, they got this one on Tubi, and then I gotta go to Amazon Prime for that, and then Discovery for this, and it gets to a point. So I mainly watch HBO Max, and I mainly watch Netflix too. So I kind of watch the two of both. So on the bright side of things, that would be actually a dope combination if I could just go to one spot and watch everything. And I don't like how Apple TV they got feel like they got everything connected on the Apple TV. When I actually press it, I had to go to the actual other streaming service, which I think is like the dumbest thing ever. I don't know what Apple was thinking with that, but yeah, you get to that, and then it's like now I'm paying for like 5 different streaming apps, and I'm only watching one thing on each. But that's my argument about that. So that's like a plus. I would say that's a plus that it actually, I would like that. It says Netflix would no longer rely primarily on producing its own original content, which, I can see because, I don't know if it's just me, but personally, lately, Netflix, I never was a big Netflix guy. No, it never had like my specific titles. HBO Max usually had my titles, so I know Netflix has Stranger Things. But I always went to HBO Max for like all the blockbuster hits of what I really wanted to watch. So I feel like Netflix is making a smart move with this, because maybe they are backboning on a safety net, trying to become the monopoly of the streaming world, which I think was actually a pretty smart move. If I was like the CEO with the owner of Netflix and all that, because why create all this original content and keep struggling to create the content when you got the money to buy out some other people and they can create it? Now you got even more titles and more money coming in. So business wise, that sound like a smart move from that perspective. Now let's get down to the important parts, the theatrical releases. Warner Brothers Films has theatrical releases before streaming or home video. That's historically. With Netflix controlling the studios, some worried theatrical release windows could shrink, meaning more movies might hit streaming instead of theaters, which can impact theaters. And for me personally, I'm a film guy. I'm a heavy lover. I'm going to the movie theaters, getting some popcorn, and sitting down for 2 or 3 hours, disconnected from the real world, and being completely immersed in this film. And I wrote a long article years ago when the pandemic was going on about, you know, wanting to save theaters. And theaters is a big part of me, big part of my culture, big part of something I love to do with friends. I don't want it to shrink no more than it already has. I mean, I already go to the theater and it's pretty empty pretty much every time I go there. The latest premiere to this day that I went to was Sonic the Hedgehog, both 2 and 3. I don't think that I see the first one, and I think I saw it. Oh man, I can't even remember where I saw the first one at. If I saw it on day of, I think I did, but I don't think my theater at the time was that hyped. But it's the second and third one, non-stop screaming. The best one, the best like just energy theater experiences that I ever had. Everybody just screaming top of their lungs for like scene after scene after scene. I'm like, yes, this is what I go to the theaters for. This is what I live for. I want more of that, man. I want more of that. I don't want it to shrink no more than it already has. It's a very special event for filmmakers and us to be able to share that experience. And let's not hope it shrinks. Theaters are constantly changing. I mean, the industry is constantly changing. The industry is at a very weird place right now, and it's changing. It's changing. I'm here for the change too. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Some stuff on here I don't fully understand. Regulatory antitrust scrutiny. Because the new Netflix plus Warner combo would control a massive share of premium streaming content, many analysts and lawmakers worry about reduced competition in streaming. It may raise monopoly antitrust concerns in the U.S. and possibly abroad. Some fear that fewer competitors will mean less variety and higher prices down the line, along with fewer opportunities for smaller studios and indie creators. That's actually really detrimental. As an indie creator that I am currently, hopefully I'll make that breakthrough one day. Less opportunities means exactly what it means, less opportunities. I hope it doesn't happen. But regardless, I'm gonna create my own lane regardless. And I think that's what every new creator should do. I think that's the future of what's holding. I'm gonna say that for another video. But I genuinely think that's the future of filmmaking as a whole. Everybody's gonna be doing their own thing. But no, I'm not gonna say anything. Higher prices. Netflix is already raising their prices constantly. So with the more content I see it, people are willing to pay for it. It's an interesting topic, very interesting. Potential negative effects on theaters and content diversity. With more content being funneled into streaming rather than theatrical releases, traditional movie theaters could suffer, especially smaller or independent theaters. Also, when a single big entity controls much of the supply of content and distribution, there's a risk of creative diversity could suffer because fewer players control greenlighting, distribution, and rights. Uncertainty remains if the deal closes. The deal isn't final yet. It depends on completion of WD's planned spin-off on its cable linear TV networks, regulatory approvals, U.S. possibly international antitrust clearance, shareholders, and other customary closing conditions. If regulators rejected or regulatory conditions force significant changes, the promised benefits or threats may not fully materialize. What to watch long term? One big streaming service. It's possible Netflix plus Warner becomes the mega streamer, offering legacy films, new releases, HBO level prestige content, and Netflix originals under the same roof. That could reshape how people consume movies and TV. Less need for multiple subscriptions. With so much content centralized, the patchwork of subscriptions might shrink for viewers. I think that's a plus. More power over what content gets seen. With fewer gatekeepers, Netflix could influence which stories get made and promoted, for better or for worse. Efficiency versus creative variety. Impact on theaters and release strategies. If Netflix leans more heavily toward streaming first releases, theatrical culture and business models could change significantly, maybe fewer wide releases, more streaming first premieres or hybrids. Industry ripple effects. Studios, smaller streaming services, independent creators, and distributors will have to adapt. Competition for premium content and deals could intensify or shrink, depending on how exclusive Netflix wants to be. In my opinion, I said this in my last video, the world is constantly changing. The film industry is constantly changing. Every industry is constantly changing. You just have to be ready to adapt and be willing to change and realize that everything's just not going to be the same forever. I just hope one day I don't wake up and my favorite theater is closed. That's it. That's all. Hope you guys enjoyed this next video. Hopefully I'll push out more if this, people are starting to like this. Need more time to play with these lights, And until next time.